CTE Master Series, Video 6, Half Ball Education, Unequal Halves, Part 1. I decided to divide this particular information into two parts. So, Video 6 will give you the first part of this information that I had originally planned for this video, and then in Video 7, I'm going to get into the second part of what I had originally planned here. But there's a particular attribute concerning center-to-edge aiming that I want to highlight. My students are aware of this, but it's important to bring it up again. Every relationship that can occur around this table, 15, 30, or 45, and there's literally millions and millions of them, can all be made with one of two sweeps, an outside sweep or an inside sweep in relation to a functional center for a 15 or a 30 or a 45. Essentially just doing the same thing over and over again. But that attribute that I want to highlight is the fact that when I sweep into a shot, I always sweep in to an alignment that is a slight overcut to the ghost ball core, which provides an alignment that is a slight overcut to center pocket, so that CTE can always provide a center pocket entry. A center pocket entry that would be acceptable to any professional player. For this 15-degree perception here, I'm going to set up for a Pro 1 right visual sweep. So I'm going to set up with my vision slightly to the inside, and I do my visual sweep to center cue ball, and my alignment to center cue ball is a slight overcut to the ghost ball core as represented by this tool. That happens for every perception. In other words, I have the option not to add helping spin because the center ball alignment, to some degree, takes into account collision-induced throw. So there are exceptions. For example, when you encounter stun, that you might want to do something differently than that, but you can count on a slight overcut to the ghost ball core, which is hugely important. Conventional aiming does not do that. I don't even like mentioning conventional aiming in the same context with what's occurring here. This is light years ahead of conventional aiming. What is described as conventional aiming is not what that's happening with good players, pro players, elite players, you as a good player. So when I do this right visual sweep, my alignment is going to be a slight overcut, so I can use center cue ball. Once players become tuned in with what's happening here, the use of center cue ball will be on the increase. That's not to say that center to edge doesn't provide avenues for using side spin in some way, because it does. That's important. When I align to this 15, when I bring my cue in for my alignment, my cue goes to center based on the right edge of the cue ball. I'm getting a half ball alignment. I am not bringing my cue in with the intentions in any kind of way of splitting the fullness of this ball with my tip so that my tip has equal halves. When I look at this 30, this is an inside 30, so for this 15 I did the bend. For this 30 inside, I'm going to do this rotation. My alignment will take me to an alignment that has a slight overcut to the ghost ball core, which is desirable. Now, it may not be that I'll use center cue ball. It depends on where the object ball, the next ball is that I'm playing position on, what it is I want to do. The CTE doesn't limit you to center cue ball. But when I do my Pro 1 visual sweep, and this is what every pro is doing, I can bring in Feder Gorst, I can bring in Josh Filler. I can set them up for this shot. They're going to do this kind of a motion into this shot. So, it'd be silly to think I'm going to bring them in here and teach them to do this when they're doing this. They might not be aware that they're doing it. I see lots of players that they're just totally surprised that that's what they're doing, and I can tell them that that's what they're doing. Shot after shot after shot. So, when I do this left pro 1 sweep into this particular alignment here, my cue, and its alignment, the tip placement, is based on this edge. I am not bringing my cue in such a way that I'm trying to place my tip in such a way as to split the fullness of this ball so that I have equal halves of the cue ball on both sides of my tip. That's not what's happening. For this 45 outside, it's a right cut. My nose is going to be slightly this way. You would never notice it unless I call your attention to it. I'm not behind the ball. I'm certainly not on this side. As Hal Houle would say, you should favor the inside of the ball. Favor the inside of center. What center? The functional center, the sightline center. So you're going to favor the inside of center. Now, to get to this particular shot, it's going to be a left rotation right in the center. And I am assured of a slight overcut to center cue ball. My tip alignment is based on this left edge. I'm not trying to split the ball. I'm not going to split the ball. In conventional aiming, it's taught that you put your tip right in the middle, move straight in, put your tip right in the middle of the ball to solve that shot. Well, that's guesswork. That's a guesswork, bridge the position. That's not what you want. So if you're on that path of doing that, I recommend that you retool your efforts as you go forward so that you can start sweeping into your shot lines correctly like the pros are doing. Now, I'm going to bridge you into this next video, video 7, with a single comment. That's going to shake things up a little bit. When I put my tip at center for any of these 3 shots, for any 15, 30, 45 that I might encounter, for any shot that I might encounter, whatever it might be, I am not going to be working with equal halves. The halves won't be equal. My tip will not have split the center. See you in video 7.